Hey, everybody. Welcome back to yet another edition of Mark's Drunk Recap. I'm not quite as drunk as I normally am, and also I'm not at the bar right now, so I don't have everybody behind me because I'm playing Bethpage Black tomorrow. So I needed to be at least a little bit sober. But fortunately for me, and let me flash up my name, you know what? Never mind. He can go first right now. I am joined by Mr. John Filkowski, host of The Final Buzzer.
Let me tell you something, brother. Hedomania is here, and it's here to stay because Filipino is running wild all over Broadway right now, brother. 7 goals already in this playoffs after 8 in the regular season. So Tampa Bay, what you gonna do when Hedomania runs wild on you, brother?
And I'm going to keep mine nice and short and sweet. I am, of course, Mark Williams of Mark's Drunk Recaps. And all I could say is so far, the New York Rangers have taken one more step. And if you're going to have to be the man, you're going to have to beat the man. Woo! All right. So we're going to start with that, Filk, right away. I have no idea why my mouse is acting up a little bit, but it is. It's like super sensitive. But Filk, like right away, Chris Kreider scoring on the first shot of the game. I don't know if Ranger fans could ask for more from that. By the way, I got some monkey shoulder, a little bit of a smoke lining in there right now, and I'm going to enjoy this. The last time I drank on camera, it didn't go so well. So, but this is going to go so good. Filk, your thoughts as soon as you saw the Kreider man score.
I'm here to corral drunk Mark, apparently. So yeah, I have to keep this guy in line. But yeah, Chris Kreider. Again, what did I say in the preview? I said that I was going to challenge Chris Kreider again to show up. And what does he do? Bang! What a play from Mika Zibanejad, though. That's something we're going to talk about in a second, but I'm gonna focus on Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider brought his big boy pants to play today, and the basically the what I was asking for from him to show that he wants that captaincy, that was what he brought tonight, and he's got to bring that for the rest of the series for them to win. But I'll tell you right now, Chris Kreider, he looked like he was playing with a purpose, and they need their 52 goal scoring potential captain to do that if he wants that captaincy. This is where you got to earn it. But it just, the setup by Mika Zibanejad was just ridiculous. So
absolutely ridiculous. Like Filk, he sold shots so well that I think even the cameraman bought it, and he just went right over to Kreider, and Kreider put it home. But as of course, one of the things we talked about in our playoff review, in between some of my incoherent rambling at 9 a.m. Sorry, guys, it's early for me. But it was the Rangers have to keep calm throughout everything. Don't ever get too high. Don't ever get too low. And guess what? They did that, and they got tested with it early, and it's a good thing for this team. But Steven Stamkos had all day to hammer home that one-timer.
Can't give that man that much space. He's got one of the best one-timers the game has ever seen, and it's not just from the left circle. He's got that off-wing one-timer. We all know about that. The only guys you could think of that were really better than him at that are probably Ovechkin and Hull, really, the two best one-timers the game has ever seen. But Stamkos is probably right behind the two of them. Can't really do that. But he got away for a second, and he made the Rangers pay.
Phil, there is a guy that wants to challenge him on that one-timer in this series. More on him in a little bit. But, so what we've always seen from moments like this is then there's a flurry. And then there's the Rangers kind of getting pressed, and then Igor Shesterkin has to save the day and wrangle them in. And Igor does that with a little help from Jacob Trouba and Chris Kreider. He makes a one big save. Jacob Trouba makes a huge save, and Chris Kreider blocks the puck into the stands. Your thoughts on that?
Selling out and giving the team what they need. Jacob Trouba is one of, I think he was the only player actually with 50 hits and 30 block shots in the entire playoffs.
Yes, he's the only one.
He was the only one, and that's been Jacob Trouba's game. And when he's not losing his assignments and he's sticking to where he should be and not going out of position to make hits and getting caught, Jacob Trouba can be solid. I mean, another solid game from him tonight. And he didn't even have to level to do it. And then Chris Kreider, again, when I told you he brought the big boy pants, this is part of it. When you see a guy that wants to be the captain blocking shots, you get those chills down the back of your neck. And you say, this man wants it. I want it more than he does or just as much. So I'm going to go run through a damn brick wall because that guy made me want to do it. And that's what Chris Kreider did by doing that. So
now, what was also very impressive about the New York Rangers at the end of the first period was that they did sustain a lot of pressure, force offensive zone turnovers several different times, especially the whipping boy of a lot of the people in the comment section, Capo Caco, who did a lot to make sure that the Rangers kept the puck in Tampa's end. And then, this is the best. I wouldn't have known this happened unless I got in my car and quickly drove back here. But in between the first and second period, Billy Jaffe interviewed Frank Vetrano, and Frank Vetrano said this: we did good things, but we need to be better down low and get behind their defensemen. What happened in the second period? They got deep, they got behind the defenseman and worked their way back out. And the best part about it is the next three lines are all Frank Vetrano. You have Vetrano breaking up a 2-on-1 by diving. And I mean, Phil, by the way, that's got to be the MSG ice. I know what they had the reputation in the past.
Trouba falling and everything there.
Trouba falling, and then I think it was Tyler Mott or Barclay Goodrow in the third period, just falling out of nowhere.
Yeah, the ice was bad. A lot of people were falling on both teams. It wasn't good. Hopefully the ice will be a lot better. I don't know why it was as bad as it was there today, but Frank Vetrano diving to break up that pass and was just that to me. All right, I know we've talked about buying in the past. I know years back with Washington, everybody talked about how they bought into Barry Trotz, and then the Islanders bought into Barry Trotz, and then in Vegas in 2018, they bought into Gerard Gallant. We are seeing a team buy into Gerard Gallant, but not only that, but we're seeing a team that's starting to believe. And I'll give you a nice little analogy since you're a movie guy. I think you'll appreciate this one. But the Rangers are like when Neo discovers that he's the one in the first Matrix. That's what they are.
Just made a new short right there.
That's what they are right now. They are starting to believe. And I've always said this, but the power of belief in sports, when you believe that you can win, that is one of the most powerful things in all sports, because this team believes they can beat it right now. If they keep close, they're goddamn right they can.
And by the way, we have a poll question up right now. What impressed you the most tonight? I have Igor, the Rangers offense, the Rangers defense, and the Rangers resiliency. So far, we got 36 votes, and the Rangers offense is number one. Keep voting, everybody, because we're going to get back to that, and Filk and I are going to give our thoughts at the end of this poll. But, so, Filk, like I said, Frank Vetrano was the next one. And by the way, why am I blurry? Seriously, why am I blurry?
Yeah.
I'll figure that one out in a minute.
Before I'm going to thank Tyler for this one. Again, hey, there we go. All
right.
Let's.
So, Filk,
man,
when you're playing well, puck luck does work in your favor. And the Rangers had a good play at the blue line. They had Adam Fox and Frank Vetrano run into each other. And then Frank Vetrano, flat-footed, well beyond the high slot, just fires the puck on net and beats Andre Vasilevsky flat-footed. If you're looking at this from the Rangers' perspective, gee, thank you. If you're looking at it from Tampa's perspective, you go, how did you let that one in?
I had to put. Oh man, Pittsburgh and Carolina media have just been absolutely hilarious. So I had to troll them a bit today too, Steven. But Frank Vetrano, I don't know. Frank Vetrano's got a very good shot. We all know this. But Andre Vasilevsky, did he just get beat by a great shot, or did he just not have that one? Because I don't know if he was really screened on that.
He really wasn't screened. I looked at it again, and I left it in my notes. That's a bad goal. That's a bad goal. If it was Igor, I'd be saying the same thing. So for starters, yeah, that's one thing I got to say about that. That's not a good goal. And you know something? Take him when you can get him against Andre Vasilevsky, because he's not going to give up many like
Andre.
Well, I think I started saying Andre and then I stopped it. But anyway, Justin Vasilevsky, Filk. but right after the Vetrano goal, Igor has to come up huge yet again. Makes a huge save. I think it was on Kucherov. I really didn't see who it was. But then right after that, Hedman ends up hitting the post. So what happens? The play goes on, I think a couple more minutes. Tampa answers. Andre Palat had a goal that Anthony Cirelli was onside by that much. He's onside, by the way. I'm not challenging that. Because it's funny how the refereeing got better once Sidney Crosby wasn't involved. But so it's that. Filk, this sets the stage for the story of the playoffs for the New York Rangers, I think, right after Igor Shesterkin. And that is the kid line, awesome again, when all three of the first rounders combine to give the Rangers the lead. Filipino in the slot, getting the puck from Kakko down low, Kakko getting it from Lafreniere. Go on, your thoughts.
That play is just exemplary of what that line has done this offseason, or this postseason rather. I'm talking with a mutual of mine on Twitter who's a Tampa fan, good guy named Craig. We chat a lot of hockey on there, and we were talking about the game, and he even brought this up, and he said, he was like, this reminds me of 2015 when the triplets ran all over the Rangers. He was like, the kid line is literally running all over us right now. And after that, I added to it and said that Tampa is still a deep team, even without Point. But the question is Tampa deep enough to match the depth of the New York Rangers, whose own fans didn't even think was this deep of a team? And the reason why we didn't think that was because we didn't know what we were going to get from this line. And this line has been their best line from start to finish. No argument to it. And the only time this line has suffered was when Gallant, I don't even know what he's doing, decided to switch Kakko and Mott. And then he puts Kakko right back with them, and they go off again.
Yeah. And you know something? That's Jurgon. That's Jurgon making adjustments and then going right back. He's not afraid to go, all right, that didn't work. Let's go right back. He was trying to give Kakko a kick in the ass or a line and kick in the ass. Get Tyler Mott out there. But because the next goal we're going to be talking about, there's a lot to talk about with that goal. And it's one of those things when it comes to this unit. I'm starting to wonder if teams should start matching up against them as opposed to, say, the Strome line, the Zibanejad line.
I'm going to cut you off right there. Remember when we were talking about depth before?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that does when you try to match up against the third line, right?
Oh,
Causes
yeah.
major matchup problems. Major. And most teams don't have defenses that can match up against three lines that are going on all cylinders. Three lines. If you have three lines that are scoring like this in playoffs, you're going to go far. And the Rangers, it's a great problem to have right now because let's just say Tampa wants to match up against that kid line. What are they going to do? They're gonna risk having their poor center depth that's already kind of deteriorated with Point being out, because they obviously don't have a matchup for Zibanejad. They don't have an answer like Zibanejad had an answer to in Carolina with Stahl, but he broke through that. So now Tampa doesn't have that big physical center that can match up against Zibanejad like that. And this is the comment right here. This is the comment right here. The
Well, what
kid
do you
line.
expect? Our friend over at Rangers Review, Mr. Statboy Steven.
It's so true because that third line was the best third line in the league that year. And that third line was Matt Zuccarello was the team's leading scorer with 59 points.
Yep.
Almost points. So that line is just, the kid line is just playing like that line right now. And that's a problem for teams. And that's what I was getting at, is that if you're going to have a third line that's going to contribute like this on a nightly basis, even if they're not getting the goals, they're giving you productive shift after productive shift, it causes a problem. And that's gonna open up things for the other lines, because then Mika Zibanejad can get away from that matchup, or Artemi Panarin can get away from that matchup, and that causes problems. That's where you're going to win these games.
And Filk, I said we have to talk about the fourth goal, because the fourth goal was possibly the most critical one of the entire game, and possibly, you know what, if it sets the tone for the series, there's a long way to go, everybody, by the way. I am going to get back to that at the end of all this. But the Rangers convert with Philip Hedl again. He one times home a K'Andre Miller feed, and 45 seconds of zone time. The Tampa Bay Lightning, the two-time Stanley Cup champions, could not get the puck out of the zone. And again, the kid line just dominates them. And this is just this. Go ahead, read
it. Jack's completely right about this. And that's what I was saying. I've gotten into a couple of arguments on Twitter in regard to Capo Caco on that line. And Lafreniere is the facilitator. Hedl is a willing shooter. And Capo Caco does a ton of the defensive work and the board work and the 50 and down low battles. It's all him. Each of those players come together like a certain Triforce that's on Mark's wall. Yeah. Like a Triforce. They come together, the three elements. Courage, wisdom, and power all come together, the three of them. So,
wow.
Yes.
I got a lot of work I have to do as far as fixing pictures now. Thanks, Filk. So
yeah. So no, but I just it's so true. And that shift was, you're right, a key shift in that game, because Tampa at that point it's only 3-2. They tie that game, it's a completely different game. But the kid line came out again, and they're just playing for the sake of playing. They're going out there, they're having fun, and they're playing hard, and it's paying off. And one of the things that I talked about was rest versus rust, and the Rangers' youth and exuberance. And okay, so the rest could help a team of 30-somethings in Tampa, but having the Rangers' youth, that's not going to hurt them playing 2 consecutive 7-game series when the majority of your team is 25 and under.
100% correct. As a matter of fact, as I talked about this before, I mean, when I say before, I mean October, that I said if the Rangers and Islanders changed their schedules, the Rangers would have gotten more practice time and more time on the road, and the Islanders would have had more games to play. Youth wants to play games. Older players want to rest and practice. And you know something? That's why when you want to tell me about rest versus rust, these guys just won 2 Stanley Cups. They know how to get through rest versus rust. And the Rangers went like that to them tonight. And especially after this goal, and I'm going to throw up this number right here because it boggles my mind. Because at one point during the year, I made a note watching a game that Filipino had as many goals as Tyler Mott. Well, I wish that would be the case because Filipino's got 7 goals. He had 8 goals in the regular season. This guy has shown up in a big way, and not just in a couple games. I know he's got a couple two goal games, but still, I mean, this Filipino is making a case that he's here to stay as the New York Rangers center. And we thought he was going in the Cop deal.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. What another thing I've said in the past is that center depth wins, and you need great center depth. And right now, I mean, we crap on Ryan Strome, yeah, because Ryan Strome misses a bunch of open nets, and sometimes his defensive play.
There's another one tonight.
Yeah, another one tonight. But you know, he's a good enough second line center. But then if you have Philip Hedl playing like he should be the second line center on your third line, that bodes very well for this team. And that's a big thing, is that the youthful exuberance of that line and the way that they are learning, the experience that they are getting, and the way that they're playing defense. I don't worry about them playing defense anymore. That was my big concern with that line, was how are they going to play defensively against these teams? I'm not worried about that anymore. I'm not.
And let me just go on by saying this, that really the center on the second line, you could argue, is Panarin, even though he's a wing. But you're forgetting the guy that was the first line right wing for a good portion of the season, or the second line, first line right wing, who's now the fourth line center, is Barclay Goodrow. And you put Barclay Goodrow and Tyler Mott together, mwah! That's all I gotta say about that. Those two have been great since they've been together. God help us if Sammy Blais is in there, but we got to talk about Ryan Reeves in a moment, because there's still more stuff that he's done. Filk, the best thing also to come out of there's so many great headlines come out tonight. We have 100 comments of yours that we have to get to. We're gonna get into these shortly, but one of the best things to come out of tonight, 30 seconds into the third period, Artemi Panarin ices the game, in my opinion. After that, it was just, it's over. It's over. Know, it's done.
I was in the car driving home from work, and right at the start of the period when they were talking right before the opening face-off, I was like, they got to get this third goal. They've got to get the next goal. It's the most important goal of the game. And then seconds later, bang, Artemi Panarin. I couldn't believe it. I lost my shit in the car. I was screaming like a maniac because I couldn't believe that just happened right after I said it. I was just so happy. Panarin just Cop made the play, advanced the puck, and then the pass over to Panarin, who did a little dragon shoot and just right in the back of the net. And that was just perfect. It was pinpoint. Artemi Panarin needed that. The Rangers needed that. We all needed that. The bread man delivered, and he delivered a nice hot, warm loaf to Andrei Vasilevsky's net.
Yeah. And then capping off the scoring, Rangers up 5-2. They get a power play. Puck cycles around. And you ever hear the expression, Filk, imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery?
Correct.
Yes. Well, Mika Zibanejad imitated Steve Stamkos the best way, because he hammered home that puck. And I've used this term Stamkos-esque for Zibanejad, who is slowly growing ever since I said Panarin got injured, and I said keep him in the Panarin spot. So now Panarin is on the right wing boards, being more of a facilitator, not really a one-time option. Zibanejad's the one-time option. He's not the bumper guy anymore. And this has been going on since December. and he's taken off and run with it. I love what I'm seeing in Mika's Zibanejad in every possible way. Filk, another thing I got to say about this, and I'm going to get your thoughts on 12 skaters with a point, 2 points for 6 skaters. Your thoughts?
Depth. That is depth. I'm going to be realistic here and say that I don't think we get another game like this out of Andrei Vasilevskiy. I will say that. But the one thing I will say in regard to that is that Tampa had some obvious issues dealing with the Rangers' speed. So, and the Rangers have played well against Vasilevskiy this season. So maybe not 6 goals, but can they get 3, 4 a game go? Out from Vasilevskiy? I think 3 is possible. I think if you could 2-3, 2-1, or 3-2, 2-1, something like that. You know, here you go. But tell you right now, this was a night for the team to remember. Don't rest on your laurels. Keep your foot on the pedal and keep going. Get Chris Kreider in Andrei Vasilevskiy's face. Have him in his office. Throw that man off his game. Get in his head. The Rangers have obviously got something there with Vasilevskiy because this isn't the first time they've lit him up.
Now, just want to get further into this because you brought up something great. I want to say one more note for the end of the end of the period or the end of the game. But Tampa tries to start fights. You know, it's a series, everybody. That's what you want to do. You want to let them know, guys, this is going to be a long series. You might have the best of us tonight. It's not going to be tomorrow night. And the thing is, Patrick Maroon was the one that ended up on the ice. Ryan Reeves was the one that ended up laughing. And if that's the case, the Rangers right now are right here where they are. I said this is the key to the Rangers winning the series. They have to be there mentally. Do not get suckered into fights. Do not worry if Tampa ties the game. Do not worry if Tampa goes ahead. Just play your game, as Herb Brooks would say. Play your game. Know your roles. Do everything. Because look what happened to the last team that didn't play their game. Florida Panthers.
Oh, and they, and you know what's funny? And I said it last series. Ryan Reeves was in Carolina's heads.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Reeves is slowly fermenting himself into Tampa's heads. And if that happens and you throw all those guys off their game, you start throwing Patrick Maroon, Corey Perry, and their other sandpaper guys off their game, and they start taking dumb penalties, this Ranger power play is going to make Tampa pay like they paid tonight. And that's going to be a big problem for Tampa.
Now, Phil, one thing I have to say, I felt it from the players. I felt it from the fans listening to them. Even as the Rangers built a 1-0 lead, Tampa tied at 1-1. Rangers go up 2-1. Tampa ties at 2-2. Even when Rangers go ahead 3-2. It wasn't until the second Hedl goal. Everyone from the fans all the way down to the ice are taking a more cautious approach to this. So the one thing I will say is, everyone take a breath. It's one game. Tampa will adjust. John Cooper is a great coach. And this is one more number I have to throw at everybody. Andrei Vasilevskiy, after a loss, is 14-0 with a nearly impenetrable save percentage. So, Filk, what happens if the Rangers can get to him in game 2 the way they did tonight?
First, I just want to little story here just because it's funny. The guy that I was talking about, Craig, we were talking on Twitter, and I said that Andrei Vasilevskiy is the NHL equivalent of a stopper ace. One of those guys where the bleeding gets bad, he comes in, and his game just gets that much better, and he always stops the bleeding.
Max Scherzer, if you will, in pitching terms.
Yeah. CC Sabathia 2009 Yankees type deal. Yeah. But about 7 minutes later after that happened, I was watching the post game on NHL Tonight, and Kevin Weeks comes on and literally calls Andrei Vasilevsky an ace and says he'll stop the bleeding. Couldn't believe it. I just thought it was absolutely hilarious that he said that. And it just goes right into this stat because that's what Andrei Vasilevsky is. Andrei Vasilevsky over the last 2-3 postseasons has been an absolute cheat code in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Absolute cheat code. He's somebody that you don't want to get into an elimination game with because in the last 9 attempts to close out a series, 8 shutouts, you don't want to go down against them. So that's why winning this game was so important. And coming out and playing fast, smart, and hard in the next one is going to be paramount because Tampa is not going to play like this for the rest of the series. I don't think they're getting enough. And John Cooper, you're right. He's going to adjust. He's too good of a coach. He will adjust. Can Tampa deal with the speed and the depth of the Rangers? I think they can. I know that Cooper will make an adjustment, but I'm going to tell you right now, Tampa will not play another game like this in this series. So it was good to get this while they could.
By the way, just for the record, John Cooper has visited the Wanto Inn and has been around our area several times. I believe he was a graduate of Hofstra Law. Harvard Law. No, Hofstra Law. And from what I always hear, really nice guy. I just need to say that out loud. But that's why everybody enjoy every bit about tonight. I know one team that's not going to rest on the laurels. It's the New York Rangers. Gerard Gallant, he doesn't let them get too high. He doesn't let them get too low. And we're going to start getting to your comments right now. But I got to say, I did call that the Rangers are going to win tonight.
One comment right here. Tampa is not the same team that got swept by Columbus. Is it the same organization? Yes. Is it the same team?
Nope.
No.
By the way, I do enjoy that this is literally coming from Killjoy right now.
Yeah, it's funny. It's supposed to be you're supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be, saying that Tampa is going to come back and be all, dominant in game 2, not the other way around, buddy. I mean, I'm kind of surprised by that. We're going to go with the Igor comment again from our new favorite Russian. So I don't know how you
rock, man. I would love to kill this language barrier eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I would, but I just love that. So
we'll learn some phrases.
I'm going to go through from the top and make my way down. I know you had Star's comments. So Mark Eisenhower, and you get a point, and you get a point. Everybody gets a point. Yeah. There we go. I'm loving that one. Richard here with Heedle. Yep.
Yeah, we're getting plenty of Heedle juice.
I'll drop a reference for you, Mark. What's with all the hostility, Phil? Come on, you know it.
Oh my God.
You know it.
Why am I blanking on what it is at the moment?
Beverly Hills Cop.
The
strip club.
By the way, Phil, I gotta bring this up because I'm gonna bring up a second poll right now.
Mm-hmm.
What impressed you? Well, actually, I'm gonna give you the 4 choices. What impressed you the most about tonight? Igor, the Rangers' offense, the Rangers' defense, or the Rangers' resiliency?
Wow. That's tough because the resiliency was big because every time Tampa tied the game, those 2 times they tied the game, the Rangers came right back and they said, no, mm-hmm. You're not getting, no more. So I got to say the resiliency, really, because when it comes down to it is that this is a young team and they could have folded the second time that they tied the game, but they came right back out and were just, incredible.
I got to say about, I got to stop you for 1 second about that goal that you're saying, because I thought Kakko was shooting. I think everyone in the ice thought Kakko was shooting, except Filipino. He kept the stick ready, and Kakko fed it to him. Bang, back of the net, 3-2 Rangers. They never looked back.
Capo Kakko made two incredible plays. He just made two incredible plays tonight, and that was one of them. And just bang, just came around from the back of the net. The keep in by Laff to make the play there along the far side boards. And then the Miller pass, just wow, just incredible goals by Filipino. Great plays, but yeah, the versatility, the resilience for me is just the big thing. Because again, like I said, they could have folded after that second goal, and Tampa could have taken that game and ran with it after they tied it. But nope, they came right back and said, "We're not letting you have this." But yeah, DP. So Pittsburgh, Carolina media, or wherever you are, and your fans too, is Andre Vasilevsky an AHL caliber goaltender? Just asking for a friend, you know. Just asking for a friend. 2K fired up over there.
He's a little bit.
John Lee. Let's go.
John D.
Rangers.
Lee.
You know, Jack with the Igor's better chant.
First off, I just want to say Mr. Satastic has just commented, and I'm happy because I want to get his thoughts on Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of this podcast. So
yeah, he made a comment before that I'm trying to find. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that.
But by the way, Phil,
yeah, I still think this series
52% of people that are in said the Rangers offense was the most impressive thing. And I gotta disagree. I think it's their resiliency. They never let them get ahead.
No, they never let them get ahead. And that was the big thing for me, is that, like I said before, completely different direction. But I'm with Big Daddy on this. If you go up 2-0 in this series, I think the Rangers win this series. That's the big thing, because it's just, you can get that 2-0 lead, forget about it. Mika Zibanejad over there. The replay is on NHL Network right now, and just that fake slapper and the hit that Vetrano took from McDonough. McDonough got caught pinching. Dumb play there. This is a great stat. Igor Shesterkin has a .958 save percentage after the second intermission this post. That's incredible. So his third period on save percentage is just nuts. So,
all right, Phil, just to let you know, I concluded the first poll. I have a second one that I got up. I'm just throwing it out there for everybody. But the first one was, what are you most impressed with? 52% said the Rangers offense. Only 25% said the Rangers resiliency. I disagree with them on that one. The new poll, and I'm going to let this go for a little bit, is, should Marc go to Tampa for Game 4 or host a viewing party?
I'm going to vote. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? If ability to do it, Marc could do it. So, this is another great comment, because I like this, because this is actually good, really good scouting and listen. All the goals were high on Vasilevsky. All the goals were high. All of them. So, and then, Ryan Strome just, oh no, Vasilevsky made the save there. That's actually a great save. Ryan Strome shot these, I don't know. Whatever.
Well, by the way, you guys are doing great with the comments. We're going to keep it going.
Steven, on tonight's broadcast, Kakko is the perfect game for the playoffs. You're right.
Wow.
And then also Messier on Kakko, wait until he has man strength.
See, this is why Ranger fans, I keep saying all the time, don't sleep on this guy. There are times where I just watch him. Like Filk, the moment I think, don't sleep on this kid, is when he was behind the net in Game 5, and just ate the puck for 30 seconds. And that's what he could do. He might end up being Jaromir Jagr light. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people always look at that part of it. It's how it kind of reminds you of Jagr, the way that he did it. I mean, and they just showed the pass across from Keandre Miller to Filipino. What a dish from Keandre Miller, who also has just been an absolute stud this postseason. And yeah, I was probably his biggest critic all season. But
yes,
from March on, he has been incredible. Incredible. This is the Keandre Miller that this team has wanted for so long, and he's just been so good. And I keep telling you, you need depth to win in the postseason. And Keandre Miller, being as good as he's been, has fortified a Rangers top 4 defense. And that top 4 defense has been really, really good, especially in the last, I would say, week and change. So,
well, I just want to ask one question. Hey, Mikey, thanks for watching. And then, by the way, where'd you watch the game tonight? He was with me. But by the way, first off, what many of you might not know about Filk is Filk has one favorite delicacy he likes to enjoy. It's crow. He will eat as much crow as he possibly can. Go ahead, prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. He's happy about it.
You know what? I always say that I want these guys to shut me up. That's why I predict Tampa in 7. I want that to prove me wrong. Because if that's what it takes, if I have to look like the horse's ass for this team to win Stanley Cup, I will run around in a costume that is the back end of a horse. It's ass. I don't care. I don't care. I'll do it. I will do just about anything to have this team win a Stanley Cup. So, and Mike saying he said this earlier for me. He had some hot sauce for me. So yeah, I got bottles of Frank's at home, Mike. You don't need to provide me with any Frank's. I've got Frank's in the fridge. And,
by the way, hot sauce great.
You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, well, that's part of it. I mean, I love it. It boosts metabolism. So yeah, I put hot sauce in my chicken every time I eat. But yeah, I continue to doubt this team. I continue to challenge guys because I want to. I want them to shut me up. Mika Zibanejad, I challenged him during the Carolina series, and I challenged him during the Pittsburgh series. I challenged him during the Pittsburgh series, and he ended up having a great end to that series. He was a driving force in the Carolina series, and he was an absolute monster tonight. So I'm going to tell you right now, I will continue to challenge guys like Chris Kreider, Artemi Panarin. I should challenge Ryan Strome next because Ryan Strome needs to break out. I'm going to challenge Andrew. I'm going to start challenging Andrew Kopp. Andrew Kopp, I want more out of him.
Yeah, and he's played well, but yeah, the Rangers could use more out of him. I do. By the way, 77% of you saying I should go to Florida. I actually think I'm ready to book a Mark on the road to go there. Why the hell not? My brother might come up from Naples to come and visit me, and I might have another friend to come up and visit me as well. That would be great. But also, I'm ready to book the tickets. I'm waiting for other people to give me a yes. But I have to say, go ahead. What's your, by the way?
Steven posted a stat before about Fox tying Wayne Gretzky for one of the highest marks in Rangers postseason history in a postseason. Fox has 20 points. Gretzky also had 20. Steven listed 19 earlier on. But Wayne Gretzky had 10 goals and 10 assists for 20 points. And, yeah.
1997.
In 1997. So it was 20 points. That is the
it's scary, by the way, when you think about it like this. He had a great playoff run. He had 10 goals. 2 of them were hat tricks.
2 of those runs were 2 of those games were hat tricks. Yes, so he had 6
Right.
goals and then had 4 goals in the other 13 games.
Yeah, it wasn't that many. It was 5 versus the Devils, 5 versus it was 15 total that entire time. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it was in the 13 games. But I mean, nothing to take away from Wayne Gretzky. After all, Mika Zibanejad just passed him. Mika Zibanejad, by the way, look, I know if the Rangers win the Stanley Cup, it's Igor Shesterkin's consummate to lose. But Mika Zibanejad is starting to make a case. And keep that in mind as this goes on. I'm just saying a case. I'm not saying he's going to do it. By the way, thanks to 64 of you watching us right now. We are constantly putting out all hockey content we can.
Yes,
and
that's ours.
Yeah, Fox is 20 points. And by the way, Steven also brought up something else that I quoted today. So first off, thank you, Steven. Rangers Review, if you haven't looked them up. But I guarantee everybody else has. They got more followers than us. But it's that Louis Domingue and Antti Ranta had higher save percentages than Sergei Bobrovsky and Jack Campbell. So don't give me, the Rangers face backups. Some guys can elevate their game. Dustin Tokarski was nothing in the NHL. And in 2014, for 10 days, he was the best goalie in Montreal. They didn't even go with Peter Budaj. They went to the third string. So sometimes that just happens, guys. It's what happens. And then you can't stop.
You want even better.
Good.
You want even better example of guys that just risen out of nowhere. One of the most iconic ones ever, Jim Craig. What was he in the NHL? Nothing. But in 1980, the Olympics, he was standing on his head. He took the Americans over the Russians with gold. Jim Carrey, 1996. What was the rest of his NHL career? Nothing. But he won president in 96. He broke Dominik Hasek's string, what would have been 7 straight Vezinas for Dominik Hasek. Well, actually, it could have been 8, but Hasek got hurt in the 2000 season. So, but that would have
and the world 7. Got introduced to Marty Biron, a guest of our show.
So yeah, and then I mean another one would be Bill Ranford in 1990, won the Conn Smythe. What was the rest of his career life like? He was a borderline starter at best.
Yeah, adequate. Really, that's about it. Look, players come up from the playoffs. It happens in baseball all the time. Guys will just hit the shit out of the ball, and then next thing you know, they're nothing. Because after that, they're scouted. Dwayne Rolson. Dwayne Rolson traded from the New York Islanders there. That was the last time, Mr. Statistic, that an NHL trade deadline goalie really made a difference. Last time. And again, I mean, you could also look at Cam Ward too.
Look at these splits on NHL Network right now. First 4 games, 1-2. Last 11, 8-3 for Igor Shesterkin. First 4 games, 4.26 goals against. Hold on, I can rewind it just a second. I'm gonna. Damn it. I lost it. Can I? No, I lost it. All right. Because somehow I pressed the wrong button on the thing, and I lost the channel. But
but by the way, the crowd chanting, because I see a couple of the comments in here. Crowd chanting Igor is better. What do you think about that?
It's gamesmanship. I mean, I wouldn't want to do anything to motivate Andrei Vasilevsky to.
The loss is enough, by the way.
8-0 in his last 18 starts after a loss in the playoffs. Like, I wouldn't want to do anything to motivate him. But what I will tell you right now is that Andrei Vasilevsky has not faced a goaltender the caliber of Shesterkin in his last 8. Name one come close to Igor's plate right now.
I mean, everybody else, they're hot
Name one.
goalies. That's about it. They're hot.
I dare to.
Best one he faced was Semyon Varlamov. That's it. There's your best.
And Semyon Varlamov isn't even anywhere close to Igor Shesterkin. He's not even an elite goaltender.
He's not even close to Ilya Sorokin. And I mean that with all complimentary to Islander fans that might be watching. Gregory, hey, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Rangers wagon, by the way. I guess somebody doesn't want to see Tampa win. I guess everybody's tired of Tampa. So,
by the way, Gregory, you guys won your Stanley Cup on my 40th birthday. Congratulations to you. I hope I get a birthday gift that's the same.
I mean, Carey Price was really good last year, but he was not on this level. Not on this level. Sorry.
There is talk. Let me just say this. There's talk right now about the potential of Carey Price retiring right now or being moved to long-term injured reserve to get him off the salary cap, because they're definitely going to do that for Weber and Shea Weber. Yeah. And like, if that's the case, then first off, NHL, you reacted a little bit too quick to make Carey Price one of the top 100 players of all time, because I was still bitter about it. But let's get back to this. If that's the case, then look, Carey Price is a great goalie and a great person for everything he's done off the ice. Let's never forget that, ever. But wow, is that one of her first times on Mean Girl Hockey?
She's been on with us before.
All right, so I don't have to say welcome to the show. So.
No, it's been a while since we've been on with us.
Phil brings them all in.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, Igor Shesterkin right now is playing on another planet, and I'm the biggest Henrik Lundqvist fan that you could find. I call Henrik Lundqvist the greatest goalie in Rangers history, and it's not even close. But the truth is, Igor Shesterkin, he keeps this up, and don't give me the win one cup. He's got to keep this up for a while. Igor Shesterkin is going to be better than Henrik Lundqvist, and wow, the Rangers are set.
He's going to have Vezina in his first full season, which is crazy to think about, because Lundqvist didn't win until 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He won in his 7th season, and he almost won the Hart Trophy. He was a finalist for the Hart Trophy in his 7th season as well in 2012. But Igor Shesterkin is already going to win a Vezina and possibly win a Hart Trophy. Now, we all know the Canadian media, give me more Austin Matthews. 6 goals is impressive. But you take away Austin Matthews from Toronto, they're still a playoff team. You take away Igor Shesterkin from the Rangers, that team ain't making the playoffs. No way. No,
I forgot who said it best. I want to say it was Steven. I think it was somebody else. But sorry, Steven, it wasn't you, I think. But there's been, was it 22 seasons of 62 goals or more?
22.
Yeah. And 7 seasons of over 935 save percentage or more. Igor Shesterkin's the MVP. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. There are 22 players that have scored 60 goals in a season. The Matthews became the 22nd. I'll tell you right now.
If I had to put in a vote, I actually would put in a vote for Austin Matthews. That's how much I think he meant it.
I wouldn't, just because he would not be. I think he would be probably 4th for me. I would have him behind Igor, Connor McDavid, and my 3rd would probably be either Johnny Gaudreau or Roman Josi.
Mhm.
Robin Yossi would probably be my third because that man put up 90 points on a Nashville Predators team that didn't have anybody close to him in scoring. Anybody.
Oh, Roman Yossi, yeah.
Roman Yossi has a legitimate claim to the MVP. He does.
Yeah.
Not good.
Well, was he a finalist?
No.
Then I agree with you on that. He's winning the Norris.
He's winning he should win the Norris. There's
He's
no
winning Norris.
bet who was the best defenseman this season. It's Yossi. I've been saying it for years. Or for months, I should say, for this season. But Roman Yossi was the best defenseman in the league by a frigging country mile.
I gotta say, because I'm looking at some of these comments, like Big Daddy, I voted for the Rangers defense. The fact that they didn't, the fact that they limited Kucherov's opportunities, and Igor didn't have to dent many rebound chances. Yeah, I mean, but the third period, the Rangers gave them nothing in the middle.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
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 And I'll point back to what I said with the trade deadline stat. This team was so porous defensively and so terrible 5-on-5 before the trade deadline. And then after the trade deadline, like towards the end of the season, they did the stats on it, and the Rangers went from 24th in chances allowed.
First.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's nuts. How do you jump that high? I mean, there's lots of time this happened. By the way, I brought up this comment because if you watch Rangers Review, by the way, one of our friends, Statboy Steven, he goes back to 1994 on so many numbers. And third most points in a single Rangers postseason, tied with Alexei Kovalev. When did he do that? 1994.
And he was only behind Mark Messier and Brian Leetch, who scored 31 and 34 points respectively.
Yeah. Brian Leetch outscored Doug Gilmour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Leetch outscored everybody that postseason, though. But Brian Leetch, not only did he outscore everyone, he played elite level defense in the playoffs.
Filk, Justin Vasilevsky.
Yeah, I saw that earlier on.
Phil, yeah, I'll be right back. I just gotta hit the bathroom.
Yeah, it's funny because Killjoy, you bring up Vetrano. I was harping for a while on Frank Vetrano and the fact that he just hadn't played well in the first two series. But I'll tell you right now, I gotta give it to Frank Vetrano tonight because he played a big game. And the first goal, Chris Kreider's goal, Vetrano took a whopping hit from Ryan McDonough to make that play. That's a big reason why that goal happened. So, and that's a big thing. Yeah, 22 years old from Kovalov, DP, and Fox 24. I'm sorry, Fox. No, Zibanejad is 30, but 22 years old, Kovalov. But Fox is 24, and his next point will tie Kovalov. So that's crazy to think about. And yeah, and we were talking about this, Mike. I mean, I don't know if that's just a bad shot, or I'm sorry, a bad goal from Vasilevsky, or if it's Vetrano's shot. But Vetrano can really rip them. I'll tell you that. Yes, Gilmour did play one less round. Toronto lost to Vancouver, so that was a big thing. But going through some of the other comments we have here. Matt says Rangers did what they needed to do today to take game one and set the tone for the series. They need to take this momentum in game two, keep playing it. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. They're the underdogs, and that's a big thing. There's not a lot of pressure on the underdogs to go out and win games. But there is going to be a bit of pressure, Matt, to crack Vasilevsky, because Vasilevsky and Tampa, they have that streak after a loss. So, But the only thing, and this is actually a good comment here because ultimately this is going to be another part of it. The only thing about Igor not winning MVP is he played in less than 60 games, which is not really his fault. He's a goaltender. Matthews played more games, of course, but goaltenders don't. It's just the depth of the position. I mean, you're looking at the guy that was the closest thing we saw to 97, 98 prime Hasek this year. I don't care what anybody says about Carey Price. Carey Price in 2015, the leading scorer was Jamie Benn with 87 points. And that was the lowest scoring season we've had since, 1967 or 68 at that point?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 68. It was Stan Mikita, I think, who had the 87 points that year. So confidence oozing from this team. Yeah. And that's why I used the Neo Matrix analogy before. I mean, that's the thing. They are starting to believe. And
they are.
And if you're a Tampa fan, or if you're John Cooper, or you're one of these Tampa players, you know what? Tampa, they're unflappable. They've been there before. They know what it takes to win. But I got to tell you right now, if that's not concerning to them at the least, they're lying. They're lying. Lying through their goddamn.
Filk, I think about game one of the Toronto series, and it looked like Toronto was all over them. This was double that because Tampa showed up, I think. Tampa didn't show up in game one versus Toronto.
No,
they showed up in this game.
No, Toronto played a very good game, but Tampa just did not look like they wanted to be there. They were just, okay, like, we're all right. We're just going to go into this, see what happens. And then they got their asses kicked. They didn't show up. They got their asses kicked. And I think that you're right. And that's the big difference between these two games is that Tampa they were on their toes in this game. Mm-hmm. And they could have won this game had things gone a little differently. But against Toronto, they just did not show up at all. So I think there's a big difference in those two games. And if you're the Rangers, that goes well for you. Andre Vasilevsky, start the statistics following playoff loss. Start of 2020, 17-0, 147 goals against, 942 save percentage, and 5 shutouts following a loss. Those numbers are ridiculous. So
this guy shows up. The question is Igor Shesterkin going to match him? And you know what? I'm going to bring in this comparison, Filk. Dominik Hasek always wanted to face the other team's number one goaltender. One of the best stories I ever heard was one time when he played the Rangers and they put in their backup. And he was furiated. And he blanked the Rangers. I forget what it was. I want to say it was 97. And that's what this is. You're going to see a lot of competitive nature between Shesterkin and Vasilevsky. This might end up being the best goaltending we're going to see all playoffs, which is great because we're going to see the worst on the Western Conference side.
Speaking of which, Colorado Avalanche might be without Darcy Kemper. This might be Pablo Francouz going forward.
Right. And I don't think the NHL is going to cry about that.
Yeah, and
I don't think they're going to cry about that.
No, I don't think so either.
If the NHL is telling me they can get
sound bit.
Edmonton versus the Rangers, they'll do it.
Oh, absolutely. And I got the best sound bit because Wayne Gretzky on the broadcast last night goes, I may be the most offensively gifted player ever, but you got to start playing some defense. The guy that I idolized did a little bit of a humble brag, and it was still absolutely hilarious.
So, Wayne Gretzky, by the way, very underrated defensive player. If people want to think he was a turnstile, and he had Yari Curry next to him, so he had one of the greatest defensive players of all time. No, Wayne Gretzky knew how to play defense. Come on, Wayne Gretzky.
That's why Wayne Gretzky was used on penalty kills because he could anticipate pucks going across like that, pick them and go the other way and score. I mean, he was better defensively than people ever give credit
Look, if
for.
I'm correct, he still has the most shorthanded goals of all time, right?
Correct.
Okay. So,
Yep.
yeah, he had the most power play points for a while. I forgot if I know Andrew Turk eclipsed him on power play goals, and so did Ovechkin. I forgot if he doesn't have power play points over Ovechkin now.
Power play points, he still has, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I know what everybody's saying right now. You could probably see some of them in the comments. I wish I could look, but I mean, yeah, he had Messier, he had Coffee, he had Curry, he had all these different options, Glenn Anderson, but Wayne Gretzky is the one that drove that train. Come on.
Well, look at it this way. I look back and I think about, the Gretzky versus Lemieux debate. I actually did the numbers a long time ago. One day I showed Anthony this and he kind of laughed. But what I did was I took all of the players, the key players, sans Paul Coffey, because he played with both Gretzky and Lemieux in his prime years.
Mm-hmm.
And I took their numbers and post Gretzky and Lemieux and looked at their careers. Yari Curry's career isn't anything special, and he didn't exactly get away from Gretzky while he was old. Glenn Anderson was another one. There was still time left in his career. Messier was the one guy that, oh God, the Hula lost us soon, 79 with Duguay and Esposito and Davidson, yeah. But
Messier was the one guy.
Yeah, Messier was the one guy that really had the great career post Gretzky, when you think about it. Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr became the second leading scorer of all time. Mark Recchi was a top, 30 scorer of all time. Mm-hmm. Ron Francis became the number 5 scorer of all time now, I believe. You're looking at a bunch of players that Lemieux had in his prime years that were way better than what Wayne Gretzky had to deal with. Larry Murphy.
Did you mention Tocchet? I forgot.
Rick Tocchet? No, I didn't mention him, and he had 400 goals and almost 1,000 points.
Mm-hmm.
If Stevens would have never cracked his head open on that Rich Pilon hit and got addicted to painkillers, that would have been a guy that would have scored 500 goals and 1,000 points. I mean, if you were to make a poll.
Go ahead.
If you were to make a poll in 1992 of who the best power forward in the game was, Kevin Stevens probably would have won.
Yeah. Kevin Stevens would have been the best power forward in the league. Him and Cam Neely.
Yeah. So, but so yeah, I always say that Gretzky was the one guy who he made everyone, no matter who it was around him, better. But when you outscored your teammate, your next highest scoring teammate, by 107 points in a season, you know you're the great one for a reason.
There was a great comment in here, and look, all you guys are doing great with your comments. Thank you very much. That I had to highlight. So I was kind of going through some of these. So if we haven't spotlighted some of them, don't worry, guys. We're always watching everything. Just this is a night to bask in, but also understand there's a long way to go. This is stage 1 of fighting one of this is like round 1 versus M. Bison in Street Fighter 2. You got to win another round, and he's probably gonna beat you one because he could cheap shot you, because that's what he does, or Shang Tsung if you want to use that one. But there's a lot further the Rangers have to go, but they really looked great tonight.
This is Mega Man 2, and they just beat Wily Stage 1. That's what this is. And Wily Stage 1 is a pretty hard stage.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Wind Waker and go with Papa Ganon.
No, Wind Waker is not one of my... I really didn't like Wind Waker.
Really?
No.
You know what? I know what the art style says, but the actual story, probably one of the darkest ones.
Good, but the animation annoys me so much in that game. I couldn't stand it. So, yeah, that was that thing.
I'm eagerly awaiting Breath of the Wild 2.
So am I, but I've heard it's been put back. So,
yeah, so what? They put back Breath of the Wild for 7 years, and we got one of the best Zelda games of all time.
Yeah, that was supposed to be on Wii, I believe, and then they went to Wii U, and they weren't on Wii U long enough, and then it got moved to Switch, so that ended up being like the big, yeah. But Brody, bro, if you ever get a chance, bud, check out Bit Brigade. I've sent Mark a link of them doing Brinstar for Metroid. And their covers of like Mega Man, Castlevania, Metroid, Zelda, just awesome. I love Link to the Past. I can play Link to the Past over and over and over again and not get tired of it. I love it.
Do you know what the best part is, Mr. Fantastic? There's 3. This, by the way, going back to a conversation Filk and I had on our very first Zoom call when we did these podcasts, which is what is the best Zelda game? And he knows I'm an Ocarina of Time guy. I love that game. If not for anything, just from Ganon at the end. And this is what I always like to have near me, just in case if I'm having like some creative blocks. I like to have this on. But just from the end where he flashes the Triforce. Yeah. And Filk right there. Those are 2 of the best. But also, Filk knows, and he hated when I said this, Majora's Mask. It's such a good game. Such a damn good game.
I don't like Majora's Mask nearly as much. I don't. I think it's really like Ocarina of Time 2 with just a different story, the way the game plays. And yeah, the masks are cool and everything like that, and you can do different things. But I just I don't know. I didn't like it nearly as much.
Yeah. Oh no, it makes sense. They had to do it within 1 year. They had to complete it all within 1 year. They had to reuse assets. And it's just like, if we're going to argue the best Zelda game, we're going to be here for a while because there are people that will probably argue the Minish Cap. So
thanks, Brody. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Brody. Thank you.
I like Sword better than I like Majora's Mask.
Which one?
Skyward Sword.
Oh, you know what? I think Skyward Sword gets a bad reputation because Fee was annoying. So that's my take on that one.
The controls are a little wonky too. That's the thing. I mean,
I didn't have any problems with the controls. That's what's weird.
If you play the remake on a Pro controller, the control again, the fight gets really annoying if you're playing it that way. So you got to go back and play it with the Joy-Cons. So
yeah,
that's my top 3, different order, Mr. Fantastic.
And people forget just how good Link to the Past is. You really forget how good it is.
Link to the Past is just an incredible game, an incredible story. It really, a lot of countdowns have Link to the Past as the best Super Nintendo game ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
considering it's got to compete against Metroid and Super Mario World and Chrono Trigger.
I was going to say Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger would probably be my number 2, borderline number 1. Chrono Trigger is just amazing game. Oh, so good. Soundtrack.
Yeah. But I mean, Filk, it's just it again. Like I mean it back when I used to do entertainment blogs. I did the best music in video games. Zelda was always number one. Do you know what my number two was? Gears of War.
What's that? Okay.
Gears of War had a great soundtrack. Metroid Prime itself was in the top 10. I know that. Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, big Daddy wants FPSs. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I just said Metroid Prime, so there's my vote on that.
The FPS to end all FPS games.
There's no other answer. I never got into Halo.
No other answer. One of the best stories ever in a video game. Amazing music, amazing visuals. The online play, just unparalleled. After Halo 3, Halo just went downhill. But there is nothing. The amount of hours I spent playing that game, I will never be able to get back because I can't even tell you how many hours I spent running. I totally disagree with this. But I get why people say it. I totally.
The ending was terrible.
Halo 3 was just the pinnacle of first-person shooter games for me. I've never played first-person shooter.
On the other hand, I gotta agree with Mr. Fantastic on this. Super Nintendo, I think, was the best system of all time.
So great. So many great games. I mean, it came out in what?
1983, I think it was. 92?
No, Super Nintendo was well out in 93. It was 1990, I think, Super Nintendo came out.
Yeah, it's Super 91.
My first ever Super Nintendo game was Final Fight. Aside from Super Mario World that came with it, Final Fight was my first game.
I think I got it late. I think I got Super Mario World, and I think I'm trying to remember what I got afterwards with it. But no, that was all great. I mean, PlayStation 1 has a lot of great titles. Resident Evil, obviously, is the one that comes to mind. But well, no, we can get back to the Rangers at any second, although we do have to cut it off eventually.
Yeah, I will be cutting it off soon because definitely going to have to go to sleep soon. But
yeah, Genesis of better sports games. You're right about that, Mr. Fantastic, especially what else? NHL hockey. But you know what? The Super Nintendo had the best first-party titles, and it had the partnership with Konami. So you had Super C, you had Turtles in Time, you had. I mean, we're not even thinking about Street Fighter yet. Turtles in Time. Oh, I could pick that game up and play it right now.
Turtles in Time. Yeah, you ever want to come over and play Turtles in Time? I have it on emulator. I have Super Nintendo emulator option. I got multiple controllers. Turtles in Time is where it's at. Love Turtles.
By the way, 43 likes tonight. Thank you very much, guys, because we do work and try our best for you, and we're hoping to do more. I know I'm going to be working Friday night. I know I'm going to be working Sunday night. So maybe Phil does a post-game show one of those nights. If not, I'll be on.
Sunday's a 3:00 game.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. You were saying Sunday night, so.
Yeah, because I work at 7:00.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, hey, the game's over. The Rangers just swept the – no, not swept. The Rangers won the first 3 games against Tampa Bay Lightning. Good, Mark. Go to work. It's going to be like that.
No, yeah.
Gregory, yes. Twisted Metal and Crash Bandicoot, yes. Those are all good ones. I mean, hell, I still have fond memories of TurboGrafx 16, but, you know, it's because I'm old.
I still have it at Dreamcast. I have Power Stone, Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, Mortal Kombat Gold. I'm missing a couple of games in there, I believe. But I tried to get Power Stone 2. Power Stone 2 is really, really hard.
Blazing Lasers and Splatterhouse. Yes, and don't forget, Mr. Fantastic, Bonk's Adventure. And Silent
Bonks.
Debuggers was a really good game. I'll tell you what my favorite game was on the TurboGrafx 16, Military Madness. It was
Bomberman.
re-released on the PlayStation as Nectaris Military Madness. Great strategy game. Absolutely phenomenal.
It's
I have it on my
funny.
phone now.
Joe mentioned Turtles in Time, played at an arcade. There was a bar called Tap and Barrel that was in Smithtown. And I used to go there with my friends, and we had Turtles in Time in there. So we would just go, get loaded, and just hog Turtles in Time and just
Wait, it
line
was
up
Turtles
quarters.
in Time? Because when I went there, it was actually the original Turtles.
No, it was Turtles in Time.
All right. That was the one on 347 at the corner of right by Pub 347, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then they changed it out.
Yeah.
Part of the goals I have in
Turtles.
life is to have a emulator video game arcade like that. All right.
So,
But guys, unfortunately, we're gonna go 3 more minutes because I'm playing Bethpage Black in the morning after it rained all day today and it's gonna rain all day tomorrow. So I will never find a ball tomorrow. All I gotta do is hit fairways and hit putts. So
yeah. So,
by the way, quickly, what's your favorite video game of all time? Throw it down.
wow, my favorite video game of all time.
Yeah.
Wow. I could narrow it down to maybe 5 or 10, but my Halo 3 is in there, Ocarina of Time's in there, Breath of the Wild's in there, Mega Man X, Battle Arena Toshinden.
Oh, we got a
Mortal
Diablo
Kombat.
right here.
Diablo is a good one.
Street Fighter 2.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is awesome. Love Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. WWF No Mercy is
Okay.
easily my favorite wrestling game. Super Smash Brothers Melee. Just, yeah.
I got a Rainbow Six that just got dropped by Mark Eisenhower.
Yeah, Skyrim.
Assassin's Creed 2.
Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah, just Jet Grind Radio. Wow, haven't heard that name in a while. So,
Alex, thank you very much, man.
yeah. Well, yeah, thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was awesome. No Mercy is my favorite wrestling video game of all time. Definitely my top 10. My top 10 is so scattered. It just...
I know. It's one of those things you have to sit down and think about it because, after all, you go through your different genres. Metroid is definitely in there for me. I mean, Super Metroid or even now Metroid Dread, which was phenomenal. God. Turtles in Time, always good. I could pick that game up and play it in a heartbeat. I'm trying not to go to sport games.
Gears of War 2, Gregory, and I have Tekken 2 as well. I have a physical copy of Tekken 2, so I love it.
Gears of War 2 is up there for me because it put so many different things, and it had one of the best twists I've had in a video game dropped on me. I actually had a tear. I'll admit it. You guys know what it was. If you played Gears of War 2, you know what actually made a tear fall. Counter-Strike, great one. Ninja Gaiden. Yes, Sir Ghostly. Thank you very much. Ninja Gaiden. I mean, I think I was 10 years old playing it. And yeah, there's Tekken 2. But Ninja Gaiden, 10 years old. And it's...
I don't know if you did this one, but Street Fighter Alpha 2. Or Street Fighter Alpha 1.
Alpha, yeah.
Dreams. That's just an amazing game, too.
So, did you ever play the original Ninja Gaiden on the Nintendo?
No, actually, I never did.
Yeah, because when you find out who the Masked Devil is, and I couldn't beat the Jakku until I was, I think, in my 20s. That's when I was able to finally beat him.
Because the original Legend of Zelda actually beat it on accident when I was probably about 5 years old, and my parents were like, "How did you beat this?" I don't know how I got friggin' Ganon's through Death Mountain in back then, because
Well, you had to know
I
that you have to
literally
shoot the silver arrow.
no, I know that I had the silver arrows. The silver arrows weren't the problem. It was just going through the dungeon and actually getting to Ganon. I didn't know where the hell I was going. I somehow made it to him on accident.
I think I did the same thing when I was younger too. By the way, Alex, take a look at our top 10 video hockey games. Hockey video games of all time. Because Blades of Steel is on there.
Good one. KD, Dune on PC.
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt, yeah. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I have a physical copy of that as well. So,
Brody, bro, you are 100% right. Between Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, you had to like time enemies because they'd respawn and then knock you off a platform. Oh God, Dragon Slayer. Sorry, wait, Gregory. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I would say that one of the hardest games I think that you could ever play is probably Mega Man 9. Mega Man 9 is just ridiculously hard to beat.
I'm actually just giving Alexander because I love this. This is one of my favorite videos. This the It's starting to get a little bit more traction because now I put very little, but by the way, it's not there yet. Because I actually added captions to this. Sorry, Filk. Go ahead.
Battletoads is really hard.
Of course, Battletoads is really hard. Always is.
Hold on.
Big Daddy, I actually don't have that one. By the way, we're still getting me to try to call Lou right now. I actually got through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I think I used it as a cheat. But in the original one that everybody says is so hard, I got the shredder at the end, and I just went to the platform and hit him with Donatello from underneath.
Yeah. If you know certain like characters, that game is hard. But if you know certain characters, one of the hardest things is getting through that friggin' waterboard with the bombs.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, that thing. Know how to like do them in the right order. It makes it a lot easier. Like I've seen walkthroughs on that. So.
All right. Well, Ghostbusters, as in the Xbox version or the Wii version. Unfortunately, I never played either, so I can't say that. I did play Ghostbusters on MS-DOS. Yes, I just said MS-DOS.
Mark is a fossil.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, we're gonna cut this off here. So,
guys,
thank you all for joining us.
And it's such a good feeling tonight, and I hope we can replicate this again very, very, very soon. Let me get to that last poll that we had. That it was, should Mark go to? Oh wow, I already cut it off a while ago. Then I guess. Really, the sex bots again? Anyway, should Mark go to Tampa for Game 4? Sure, why not? 77% of you. I'm hoping I'm doing a Mark on the road for you guys. So, Filk and I are going to go, guys. Everybody, thank you very much. You're all been great, and just let's go Rangers. Let's just keep this going. Let's believe.
Let's go Rangers. No quit New York.
no quit in New York. And